masulang Salvador agot malungil tutaw mora ibudul maraklay pilong mar ebi raklay rubul belaw silbelaw mal special lungil tutaw mora rubul Ngardmau isil Ngardmau mar ngiaskal redil mar saal Ngardmau marabekal ad. Thank you so much, Salvador, for having me on this morning, and I think it's a good opportunity to clear up some of the questions that people have been asking about this issue of my candidacy as a dual citizen and as a write-in candidate. So I think the first thing that I wanted to clarify is that and with all due respect to my friend Moses at Tiare, the article in Tiare was mistaken in the language that they used. I was not disqualified. I am in fact very much qualified to run for office and to hold office. The letter that came to me from the Election Commission basically denied my petition to be on the ballot. And before I submitted my petition was initiated by the leaders of my community and the leaders of the Be'el of my community. And it was completed in full, and it was submitted early, on time, and with the $500 fee that's required. And I had read the law, and I know that as we all know, the Constitution of Palau got the supreme law of the land. Ni dil lara Palau ngara sila Palau National Code, ni dil statute. If it is in conflict with our Constitution of Palau, the Constitution always prevails. And the language in the Constitution is that ni dil ad el orgadia obis, that holds office. Anyone who holds office in Olbira Gululaw must be a Palauan citizen only. It does not say anyone who seeks office. It does not talk about candidacy. It talks about holding office. So you don't hold office until you take your oath of office. And I also knew that there had been multiple candidates in prior elections, and even just in the last election, that were dual citizens that were on the ballot and that were not required to renounce their citizenship before they either won or lost their election. So when I submitted my petition along with the fee, I asked the staff at the Palau Election Commission, and I told them I was very transparent. I said, nga ka dual citizen, and it takes time to renounce, and it's a little bit of an emotional thing for me because my father, Andrew, who I love very much, was an American, proud American, and he's passed away. And since I've been in Palau, it's the only thing I have left from my father. So I'm planning to sugumang akngal tangat voters ng Ngardmau asurirak umteirigi del mora klul olbil. Then aruera take a oath of office. I will renounce and make sure that I am in compliance with our La Rabelaw. So I told this to the staff at the Election Commission. And I really have to say they were really professional and really polite, and were very nice about the whole situation. And they said, it's okay, go ahead and submit everything, and we'll take it before the Election Commission, and let the Election Commission will make their decision, and then they'll get back to you. So I'm confident that since the Election Commission has already set precedent in prior elections with other candidates, that they wouldn't treat me differently. So I was surprised, I have to say, because the Election Commission met to discuss this issue at 4:00 I believe it was on a Wednesday, or it was on a Thursday. And then that next morning at 10:00, I went to one of our local coffee shops to have a meeting at about 10:00 in the morning. And my friend Moses was there. And as I walked in, he said, "Hey, I heard you were disqualified." And I hadn't heard anything yet. And so I said, hey, how come you know about it and I don't know about it yet, and I'm the candidate and you're the media? And so the language of disqualification is Moses' language. It is not the language of the Election Commission. And in fact, if you ask any lawyer, if they look at all the relevant laws, I am very qualified because I am a Palauan citizen. And all I have to do is take the steps necessary to be in compliance with the law before I take the oath of office. I hope that helps to clear things up. Having said that, akmal gidel adratal campaign gidel tabadsil ongoul campaign, we totally respect the decision of the Election Commission. I might disagree with it. And I will be very open about my disagreement with it, but I respect what they're doing. I know it's a tough job. And so that's why I'm running as a write-in candidate. And it's if they change their decision and decide to put me on the ballot, great. But mamal adra tabal sil ongo the ula mal blagarang mamal to implement this campaign as a write-in campaign al time.
Mam sulange write-in candidate Tiare. Knowing at mlaset mladina gaul murapalat. Ngarasil el momdasori mal priority gaul malubeng mal important el kau asam umrur ngil giriana adra blur ngat mawa al dumam la dinair gawa election commission e gawa asam el dimor murte momlatel gengal la blur ngat mawa is delicate ngara tara ngagil gora sel momission gora priority gaul lagbom rally el mere del time malubeng sel sebem rally el mere del mongestuti adra ngat mawa el mere el mori elai sagi del colonial gamlat sebem lo aisak mengara gora agegi the priority ga omdasak mo gamlat kak mong mal lungil alborngi leng clunya adan mal dum germurtel motel kingal
sulang malungil oyem sulang malungil kere Salvador. I think I'm going to, because there are a lot of things that we need to accomplish, but I'm going to summarize my priority by saying whether as a private citizen or as a representative, democratic representative of our state, my priority is always to improve our opportunities, our other Ngardmau, mar other abela rokui. Improve our opportunities for people to be able to truly achieve this Palauan dream that we're talking about. Because we are so lucky. I have lived, many of you know, I have lived in some of the most beautiful places in the world. And Ngarabela, of course. And I have lived in Northern California, Maui, Oahu, Samoa. I've even lived in France. And you know what? Palau is still the most beautiful, special place in the world. And I'm so inspired by my community because we went from being one of the most vulnerable communities, one of the highest unemployment rates, one of the lowest state revenue generating states, to now we are the second highest revenue generating state in the Republic, and we have one of the lowest unemployment rates. We're so lucky because we have these amazing resources, rich water resources. Even when we had the drought, we had water and we were able to share water with our other Belarokoi. We have this beautiful waterfall, the tallest waterfall. We have this amazing mountain vista, the tallest mountain vista, where you can see from Kayal on a clear day all the way to the Pililyu. And we have this amazing, rich sea cucumber Aram Room resource. And a lot of people don't know this. Aram Room is the second most valuable marine resource in the world, second only to tuna. And we have one of the richest resources in Palau. And we in Palau have a very rich resource of arambrum. In Ngardmau, we also have one of the most charismatic dive sites where you're almost guaranteed to see a manta ray if you come to Ngardmau and you decide to dive at Iliak al-Balu, Devilfish City. It's one of the most dynamic manta ray cleaning stations in the Republic. And we have a group of dolphins that is often found in front of Ngardmau State, just like dolphins and whales are found throughout Palau, but they're often found in front of Ngardmau State. And, you know, I've been promoting marine mammal tourism in Palau as part of our conservation strategy because it is the second fastest growing sector of the tourism industry right now in the world. Guam is making $13 million a year in direct receipts just from taking tourists from Asia out for a half day to go watch two small groups of dolphins. And we have more than 10 species of marine mammals, whales and dolphins, in Palau. And those dolphins reside in the front of Ngardmau too. So we're very lucky. And at the same time, we don't have a huge population. It's just a small group of us. So the opportunities for our people, if we work together, if we really come together and we work together and we think strategically, we set our plan, our goals, and we aim for those goals and we support each other to achieve those goals, we can literally do anything. If they work together, if we work together, we can literally make anything possible. So I'm inspired by that. And whether I'm a private citizen or whether I'm working as a democratic representative, that's always going to be my priority. And given my professional experience at the national level, state, national, and even at the regional and international level, I feel that I can best serve my community in the role as Delegate of Ngardmau. I can best help to mobilize resources to create opportunities for my community to achieve that Palauan dream, and even for our other Welau Rokui, improve our opportunities for Gidal Rokui. So that's why I'm running.
Sulat tiare malbeto ka ungil resources kamla mention ngani room ngani ungil diving site sebe melomesa oklamadaul sebe melmesa dolfina amdalang Ngardmau magara turnagel mo benefit in terms ra income sebe ira other Ngardmau mo realize Betokal adam lami melgo o sisil tokoil kung we are rich in resources, pristine paradise. Hindi ka makara-turn na ilan mo income, ka makara-turn na mo benefit el dialdil po na state, motigal individual, other community.
Sulang, maralong ilger. We are now facing a situation in Palau where we have scale down our second most important economic sector, and that's commercial fisheries. That means we're putting in a lot more of our eggs, our eggs into the tourism basket. We're really depending on tourism to support our economic growth. And it has been the key sector that has supported economic growth. The problem is that in that sector, most of the economic benefits, direct economic benefits, are not coming to Palauans. Most of those direct economic benefits are going to foreign owners of tour operations and the many different aspects of the tourism industry, airlines, hotels, tour companies, etc. What we really need to do is we really need to strategically bring much more of those tourism benefits directly to our community. And one of the things, our community members, and one of the things that we really need to do, I believe, is we need to strengthen entrepreneurialism in our community. And we need to create better and easier access for our community members to the expertise, to the finance, to the strategic partnerships that they need in order to start their own tour businesses and directly benefit from this amazing these amazing resources that we have and this growing tourism industry. Right now, visitors, a lot of our direct revenues in Ngardmau are coming from visitors to the waterfall. We get between 500 and 1,000 visitors to the waterfall every week. So there's a market right there. And I know in my community, there are many people, young people, people our age, that have a dream for a business, for a small business, but they're not sure how to get started. And so one of the things that we've put in our platform is that we need to create entrepreneurial facilitation programs at the community level. And sometimes that might mean just hiring one person who is qualified and whose full-time job it is just to help community members. If you have an idea for a business, let's look at it. Let's do the necessary research to see, is it a viable business idea, small business idea? And if it is, okay, let's help you write a business plan. If you need a business plan, let's look at what small loan opportunities are available, what capacity building opportunities available, and link you up with those opportunities. And then our representatives at Klol Olbil, our delegate, I think one of the important roles that they play is to, if we're working together, they should know these are the kinds of businesses that we need to find strategic partnerships to help support. And instead of going out and trying to find partners for personal endeavors, looking for partners for our community members that are just looking for, investors to help them get that dream rolling, getting it underway. I have a personal target for our household income. Right now, rural communities in Palau, our Office of Statistics considers Airai and Koror urban communities. Every other state in Palau is considered a rural community. And the average household income in rural communities is about $20,000. So I have a personal target for household income for my community. And this target is based kind of on a study that was done in the US where they looked at, is there a relationship between income level and happiness? Because when we think about it, our goal is not really money. Our goal is quality of life and personal satisfaction and happiness and people reaching their best potential, right? And so when they did this study, they found that the happiest people in the United States, there is an income level that's most common. And I thought it would be, is it $1 million? What is that income level? That income level is $75,000. More than $75,000, they found the stress of managing the resources needed to generate more takes away from that happiness index, that quality of life. And less than that, the stress of trying to, make sure that you have enough money to pay your children's tuition, make sure you have enough money to maintain your home and keep your family safe. Those things take away from the quality of. So there is a measurement, there's a number, and it was 75,000 for the US. So for our community, we've set a target of 50,000 household income. And we've done the math, and we've looked at all the opportunities that are available for our community, and we call it our 50-50 plan, because we have 50 households in Ngardmau. that if we work together, we can achieve that. We can achieve and I'm not talking about an average, because average you can have a few very wealthy people and everybody else is really, really struggling. I'm talking about a standard, a standard that most people are making most households are generating at least $50,000 every year. And I think just as a first target for making sure people have what they need to not have to worry about their children's uniforms, not have to worry about whether or not they can put food on the table or paying tuition for their children to go to college, or, investing in their child who maybe wants to start a small business and they want to, help them get started. $50,000 is an achievable and reasonable number to start out with.
Seven gora share segidal planet mo gora at sibertial $50,000 per household. Adal can mal less than 100 people. Makara at 7 years mara community mal kekray.
So again, it's if we work together, because we're not just the people that are living in Ngardmau. We're the people who are living in Ngardmau, as well as the people who are living throughout Palau, as well as the people from Ngardmau who are living throughout the world. And I'll give you an example, Aram Room, okay? In 2011, we did an Aram Room harvest. And that Aram Room harvest that generated about $600,000 in direct payments to our community. So we thought, wow, we really made a lot of money off of our Aram Room. Unfortunately, what happened with that is because we didn't have a good plan in place, a sustainable harvest plan, and we weren't working as closely as we needed to be working with some of our conservation partners, we ended up removing almost 80% of our Aram Room outside the conservation area. So 20% was taken from Ngarmas, but 80% was removed from outside of Ngarmas. From that $600,000 was generated. Now, we brought in partners from California who are experts on economic valuation of resource harvest activities and use activities. Anyway, so they did an economic valuation, and what they found was that we made $600,000, but the middlemen, the Chinese who came to buy that Aram Room and left and sold that Aram Room in Hong Kong, or wherever it was that they sold the Aram Room, they made upwards of $10 million. So that's the value of that resource. If we work together, if our other Ngardmau work together, because we have people living throughout the world, and we're able to gain more access to that supply chain, right? That supply chain of Aram Room. So we're not just selling it to them at the dock at Tululaang. We have our own market, maybe in Chinatown, San Francisco. Maybe we have a market in Taiwan. Maybe we even have a little store or something in Hong Kong. Who knows? If we are able to capture more of that supply chain, then more of that, we can do sustainable harvests of only 20%. And at an annual or biannual basis, generate upwards of $3 million. $1 million a year, or upwards of $3 million. And the value of that Aram Room, of that sea cucumber that we have in Palau and in Ngardmau, is not going down. It is going up. And the reason why it's going up is because everywhere else in the world, the Chinese are doing the same thing. They're going to Pacific Island communities or island communities, and they're collapsing. They're removing so much that they collapse their sea cucumber resource. So all these resources are being collapsed throughout the world. So that's making the value of Aram Room just go up and up and up. Conservation. We have a lot of technical expertise in Palau. If we really work together, we do sustainable harvest of Aram Room, and we capture more of that chain, we can make sure that we bring most of that benefit to our communities instead of giving most of that benefit away to strangers. So that's just one example of one component of the 50-50 plan. But there are others. Building, encouraging our community members to have their small businesses, whether it's a catering business or a little cafe or restaurant or beauty salon or tourism, buying a couple boats to make sure that it's not just the tour operators in Koror that are going to see the manta rays, but that we have our own tour operators in Ngardmau that are taking tourists out to go see the manta rays and to go see the dolphins. Arbadul Iagar's son, Madraisao, is an expert on. He's been working with Ron Leidick over at the Blue Planet for the longest time. And Ron is one of the global experts on how to do high-end, because we keep talking about high-end in Palau, high-end, sustainable, responsible tourism.
Boleh Tiare. Kay malungil tutang koler ngaraer.
Tutang. Kami adam dengan kami ada mereka wasir mengarang proses mo umtiangat pamu biar luar mo dibol orang mereka ada ngat mau. Orang mereka suka misalnya dia di kau ada mo tinggal ada California. Mansula.
Mal masulang malungil ger. I'm not going to, make excuses. Malmarang, it's something that I struggle with. Sibegaloreng sa Torebelao, and the sel ak malasamelo ulta uldeswek malgot Torebelao. Some ngari at times akora, I mix up the words. Malbay bayot trangal ulta uldeswek sel ak malgot Torebelao. Atara ula ak mundasung klol olbila that I can hold that office is because ngaringa tablol national languages erikit ngaringa English matorabelaw rogul larabelaw national larabelaw el ngara toram rigel so sel tangara session and all of everything that's in front of them, it's all in English. And so since I'm not applying to be a Palauan language teacher, and I would never qualify to be a Palauan language teacher. So, Mosu Bese caller, I am always trying to do my best, and I will always try to do my best. But I think Seldabora Aklol Olbil, the most important thing is what's in your heart, what you're trying to accomplish, whether you have the ability to accomplish those things, and whether you can communicate those things, whether it's in Tagorabela, Malubun Tagoram Rigel, because Ngariya Tablo national languages, I hope that this answers that question. Okay.
Misula ko len dimlakal choice Tiare. Tiare kam le mention sel rumrumel mawai sentra malungi resource kadamade kung malme generator klul income el dakal dilborang ratmam lora baby rablu mangere de lo mesel la sekadamagara rulil motara source ra ay income belal mo sebe del exporter ngi Hindi el asediwan. Ngaratara resource el momes ngil sebel directly mo benefiter tiral adra blue. Dagal dil adra Ngardmau mal adra belau roki. Bisaidra wa tial erum room el gamlas modi.
So I mentioned the issue of marine mammal tourism. If we try to strengthen that sector of tourism, I think that we can go a long way to improving opportunities throughout Palau for our community members to participate in the tourism industry, especially Aigel communities in Diagapatoka charismatic dive sites. But they have a dream of getting involved in marine-based tourism of some kind. I'll give you an example. Angaur, for example, doesn't have a lot of dive sites, right? But between Angaur and Peleliu is a real hot spot for whales and dolphins. So they could invest in the marine mammal tourism industry, and it would be a lucrative industry. As I mentioned, Guam is making $13 million a year. So the same is true for Ngardmau. Right now, as I mentioned, we have between 500 and 1,000 visitors going to the waterfall, and in fact, that's where we're generating a lot of our revenue from the waterfall. So we can manage our other sites in a similar way, yeah, because we have a lot of charismatic sites. Also, that market that's going to the waterfall, we need to really be strategic about that market and not just let them go to the waterfall and get their bento in, with all due respect, in Koror, and then they go to the waterfall and they just pay that $10, and that's the only benefit that we get. Eh? We need to have our own community members, having their small restaurants or cafes or catering businesses, maybe small retail and gift shops that also cater to those between 500 and 1,000 people that are going to the waterfall. So those are some of the private sector opportunities that exist. And then we have to be strategic about our public sector opportunities, our appropriations, working with the Office of the President to be sure that we're included in opportunities such as this Taiwan Stimulus Fund, and that's going to support those projects that are really needed in Ngardmau and strategic for Ngardmau, like completing our roads, improving our water system, and making sure that those opportunities that are available to us from international partners are also accessible for our community members. So those are some of the things that we can be doing to increase that number. But I think it really, one of the things that it really begins with is building that entrepreneurial capacity in our community. Because I hear it all the time, a lot of our, especially our young people, they have a dream for a business, but they don't know how to get started. And we need to help them get started. We need to do more to help them get started.
Kama masulay candidate, writing candidate, Tiare Galobang Geda, Tiare Holm, writing candidate, mo delegate of Ngardmau. Ako mesa sele platform ergan diregal kokorawa mo lasmel improve arolela housing mo adang Ngardmau. Sel domesegan rural areas sing mumasinda ada namo maklulad ungal gandi takelo bantrira. Adra blidire. Diregal ngania isura utum el gomesen soamel diregal tatsa gigidel isura utum. Kamakara help tirgal adara Ngardmau mai kal baby rablul sibil achieve seguid el goal tir el moblay rablay. O sisul time ngania utum el sebed el karentin ngul mistrir el lomgad ora bliri ngit la mo willing el mood mel Ngardmau malu betading Ngardmau mula bliri ngad makara rulil mo beotra adar ruli se a planer gawang ral kidel se.
Well, masulang Salvador. That is a key issue for Ngardmau as well as for all the rural communities, as you mentioned. And there are things that we can do if we're really working together and we're kind of thinking out of the box for how we can improve housing opportunities for our community members that want to move back. And I really want to emphasize this, Leng. We have to create more demand in our communities to support these dreams that we're talking about, and that really means encouraging our people to move home, to come home. And the leases, there have been many leases that have been given, many of them to people who are not from Ngardmau, which is okay. But we need to really prioritize, especially our kids that don't have their own home, to be able to get their lease. And then one of the things that we can do at the national level, that our delegate can do at the national level, is work with Palau Housing Authority. Palau Housing Authority offers a $30,000 loan to Palauan families who are building their home for the first time. And that $30,000 loan is at 4% interest, which is really, really good. And I've talked with my friend Frida about this in previous years, that if we work together and we identify those areas that are available for lease, where we can do a residential development program, and link that with the opportunities that are available at Palau Housing. And then as the national representative, be sure that Palau Housing gets the resources that they need in order to be able to make those loans to our community members. Then we can begin to achieve this or address this issue of housing in Ngardmau and throughout the rural areas. Another one of the good things about the Palau housing loan is, as a way of building a home, is that there are certain safety requirements in order to get that loan. So it is kind of the beginning of getting a good, responsible building code in place, making sure that new homes meet those safety requirements. They are sturdy enough to withstand 180-mile winds, for example, that they're energy efficient, and so on and so forth. But I think improving opportunities for our community members to build their homes in Ngardmau begins with making sure our lease program is clear and transparent, and really does prioritize the people who need to be prioritized, and that we link up those opportunities with our national opportunities that are available, like the Palau Housing Authority opportunities, and that we make sure that those opportunities are accessible to our community members that need to build their homes or improve their homes.
So la tiare guring sara rotol adal the low income. El soril meru la blirir ndi umusindra time it mundial qualify ma to sika utmel collateral de agatemi. El al silse el al adodu engani pending el legislation el to dia el introduction a president Musalmor olbile. El trial increase la minimum wage, el gradual increase el mo ngara $8 an hour. El togalad el gureng setirak mong gora sorir seguido el dasul el malasam el increase at minimum wage over the next few years mong agagid el togol dol goya mo achievable yang moria enough el income el mid el sabir el malone omgadora abledir malbet marulangot olurio. Ngaral the swimmer seguido el dasul ok mo mongal tangata mar adang at ma right in account. And sabem el molduba seguido el legislation el increase our minimum wage for the next few years more $8.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree and support that legislation, el increase our minimum wage, el more $8. Now, I do think, having said that there needs to be discussion about whether we should have exceptions to that. For example, should we have an exception for domestic help? Should we have an exception for small mom and pop businesses to be able to, who sometimes employ their kids, who to be able to pay a little bit less than the minimum wage, yeah? And then also, do we need to be thinking about construction workers? Because the reason why it only costs $30,000 to build a good home in Palau is because of the wages, is because what it costs to pay a carpenter or a construction worker is so far below what you would pay them in the States. Here in Palau, you build a house for 30 to 50,000. In the States, you build that same house for about 150,000, 200,000, and it's because, in a large part, because of the wages. So I absolutely support increase in minimum wage to at least $8, but I also think that we should be having a strategic discussion about where, if and where there should be exceptions to those to the minimum wage. In addition to that, I want to say that I was very surprised to learn not long ago that at the state level, state employees do not get basic benefits of annual leave, sick leave, and family leave. And I'm many people know akmal kul supporter del tagora maternity leave and family leave. And I believe that Koror right now, from what I understand, is the only state that actually offers annual leave and sick leave and family leave to their employees. And I think that at the state level, our employees deserve to have those very basic benefits because we're all human beings. We all get sick sometimes. We all have emergencies that happen in our family. And so we need to support each other when those things happen. So that's another thing that I would work to try to make sure is put in place, not just for Ngardmau State, but for all the states. And I know that there are resource implications, but I think we can address those resource implications.
Candidate ko amal kumisar amal samlo muktub asyobain mar other bela. Hindi seldo meset tel tax system belar el angwal. Hindi akal help ay kalm gegrel syobay.
I see.
Hindi akal sel ko omo meser ngit tel tax system a help el build maluben develop ay kal syobay el gegrey mang sab el crow.
I see.
Mal wal dilong burar adalo syobay magdawreon el mering el edel sebemel al dumar adrangod el blua mo sebir el meaklo capital tir el sebir me orut osil syobay meigerni ngaraul de swemer tel tax system el malati al 4% cross receipt a maklol mulmuta mgegrel syobay el ago mesa bebir ablua en aring mal magigre taxer away get klalo lo spean ngal ka wa pampers meal magel klalo lo spean magigre ngal a mal gegre tax lo la niya government mal mutel bebir klalo legal mal basic ada mal lo spel ngrol de swimetel tax system ergid el mo sebelo ngso asyo bay
Well, masulang Salvador, I think that tax system it really needs to be a complete review. There are many ways that we can make it more strategic and support small businesses, new businesses, and Palauan-owned businesses. And not only that, but to be sure that agel klol shobay, especially agel foreign-owned klol shobay, e magkloa impact the resources of youth, that they pay certain taxes that help offset those negative impacts on our resources. So when, in economics you call it internalizing negative externalities, yeah? So the negative impacts of those businesses, they pay an extra tax to offset, and that goes to, our supporting our landfill, expanding our sewer system, all those infrastructures that these big foreign-owned businesses have a big impact on. But to support our local communities, we have to review. We keep the problem with developing tax codes, not just in Palau, but in many other countries, is we do it piecemeal. right? We say, let's do this tax for the gold, or let's do this tax for alcohol or whatever. What we really need to do is we need to do a complete review of the tax system and really get a handle on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to encourage. If we're trying to encourage locally owned small businesses, we should give them a tax break. For the first, we know that a small business is most vulnerable in the first 3 to 5 years of life. That's when they really need the tax break, during that first 3 years. So, thinking strategically, coming together, talking to our community members, finding out where are the burdens and where are the opportunities, and reviewing our tax system to make it do what we need it to do. Supporting the operations of our or helping to support the operations of our government, but also incentivizing and encouraging our our community members to take part in the private sector, because most people who work in Palau actually work for the public sector. And what we need, what we've been talking about doing literally for 2 decades. I remember the first time President Ramgasau ran for president back in 2000, and they were talking about downsizing government, cutting it in half. Because we need to do that in order to support real economic growth in Palau. But how do we do that? One of the ways we can do that is, if our other Oriora government, the Palau government, Palau State government, and they have an idea for a business, and they get their business plan and their business loan, they get it started, we should be able to offer them a little time off. Go ahead you can take 1 or 2 days off a week, work on your business. We'll still keep you on the payroll because we want you to succeed. We know that eventually, if you move out of the public sector into the private sector, that benefits everybody. But I think we need to be thinking a little bit more big picture and coming together and really working together and thinking strategically about issues like taxes and issues like how we're going to encourage our community and support our community to take a bigger role in the private sector. Right now, the majority of the private sector is run by non-Palauans and owned by non-Palauans. You know what that means? That means the majority of the benefits from our private sector are leaving Palau. And we need to do something about that.
Mamsulang candidate Ngardmau write-in candidate Tiare Holm. Ramurut mo delegate la state Ngardmau. Tiare ngora dimral mo dia ka temede kora mana kerap tokol gal matemem. Ngani gel gora lastel tokol samel mutel mung ka kumesa kan gerem el mutel metial station over senkiom. O masum ngani agora samel mutel mul mo reng sarador Ngardmau mal ador belau. Mo spet ka gidel time.
Mral Masulang Salvador, thank you so much for having us here, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Mral Msulang Morar Adrokui for listening and for your concern about the issues that we're all dealing with together. I look forward to continuing this discussion with everybody in my community, my beautiful community of Ngardmau. Let's not stop this discussion. Let's continue this discussion. Moringa town hall meeting next Thursday the 20th. Abay, tentatively scheduled for Thursday the 20th. If the date changes, we'll put the word out. But I really encourage and invite everybody from Ngardmau to join us for that town hall meeting, and let's continue this discussion. We've just finished producing all of us together, we just finished producing a great master plan, and if we work together and really commit ourselves, we can really implement that master plan and achieve the goals of our master plan. So I really want to thank you Salvador and your staff for welcoming us here and for this opportunity. And really thank our Adarokui that's listening, and especially our Adarang Ngardmau. And look forward to our future conversations. Sulang.